talking about the ranks and the momentum, because we're going to talk about that word momentum a lot today. Pause me at any point and ask a question, throw it in the chat, whatever is easiest for you, and I will do my best to answer it as best I can. So we know that like ranks, we're just going to jump right into it. I'm just going to go. All right. And maybe I should, you know what, I'll tell you my story a little bit because it's probably not one that you would expect. So when I started my business 3.5 years ago, I had 2 6-month-old twins. I had 2 1.5-year-old twins, and I had a 3-year-old. So I came into this business not for the business. I came in because I needed friends. I could not leave my house. It was actually strangely similar to what we're living right now with quarantine. We're like, I just could not go anywhere or do anything, right? So I knew that coming into this, my time would have to be protected. And I knew that in order to achieve certain things that I was starting to see financially possible for my family of 7, that I would need to make sure that my mindset would remain intact throughout all of that. So I did not hit Emerald for 6 months, my first 6 months of my business, because I think one, I was a little bit hesitant. I didn't really understand the foundational level of that Emerald rank. And I refused to sign up my husband. I was like, no, we can't afford to be purchasing another challenge pack, right? We have a family of 7. No, 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 no. So I hit Emerald 6 months in with one of my good friends, and actually a youth group leader from way back in high school. Those were the 2 people that became my Emerald. And then what happened, what I started seeing was that it actually is kind of like your step in the door, right? And so I said, you know what? We're going to sign my husband. Forget this. I'm going to go in, we're going to do it this way. And we're going to be able to hold Emerald, because after 3 weeks, my youth group leader had to resign, or whatever you want to call it, right? And then I was Emerald for about a year, completely skipped Ruby and went right to Diamond. Because what started happening in my business, and what you'll learn from sharing consistently on social media, through sharing your story authentically on social media, all of those things, is you start picking up momentum. And so you can reach points throughout your business where you kind of have this explosion, right? And for me, that was Diamond. That was when the momentum all kind of like, if you think of a soda bottle that's capped, all the momentum shot up, and everything since then has kind of been overflowing, right? Like fireworks. Currently my team is 1 star, and we are 3 people away from beginning qualifications for 3-star. So I think I like to jump around a little bit. I don't really like following the rules and hitting ranks when you're supposed to, because I never hit Ruby. Even, and that you'll find that too, as we talk about these ranks, is most people actually skip Ruby and go right from Emerald to Diamond. And the same is true when you get into the Star Diamonds. And for some of you, this is so over your head, but know that that can happen too. Then is you'll be maybe a 1-star, and then all of a sudden you're going to be 3, 4-star qualifying, those types of things, because momentum and mindset are 2 key driving forces in your business to keep showing up for. So I'm not going to talk to you about the team cycle bonuses, those types of things. We have really incredible training in our back office that can really easily lay those out for you. And I don't want to muddle your mind a little bit. What I want to talk about, really from an outsider looking in, or one of my best ways to describe it, is I like to explain it as if I'm talking to a 2nd grader, because this business is super, super simple. And I think a lot of times we really overcomplicate that when we think about ranks. So Emerald, that's your first rank, right? A lot of times people talk about that as being your street credit. But what it actually means is, Emerald is when you say, all right, I think I'm going to open up a store. I think I'm going to open up my own freaking business. You don't have your building yet. You don't have your inventory yet. But that's the idea, that you're going to open up a store. And that's Emerald. Because what do you do when you're Emerald? You talk to your friends about it. You say, you know what? I'm going to do this really cool thing, and I would love for you to be a part of it with me, right? So 2 of your best girlfriends sign up, and that's your Emerald. It's your, all right, we're going to open this store. Okay. The next one, Ruby. And like I said, Ruby, a lot of people kind of skip over this because there's really not that much different between a Ruby and a Diamond. But Ruby is when you're going to say, okay, I'm going to start filling my store. Or from a client standpoint is you're going to start putting your flyers up, right? That you're going to be opening the store because you're filling it with inventory. You're getting so excited about all these things that are going on. That's Ruby, right? Like Emerald and Ruby are kind of like the behind the scenes work of you putting out that feeler that you're going to open a business. And then we have Diamond. A lot of people think that this is kind of the kicker or the explosion for the business, but most often it's not. Diamond is that day when you say, all right, we are open for business, people. All right, I have my inventory ready. I have my my employees, they're lined up. Your employees are going to be your business partners, right? The people who are going to run with you. You're ready and your store is open. So then Star Diamond, again, I like to simplify all of this, but Star Diamond is when you say, okay, we're ready for another location. We're going to have 2 locations now. All right, this is our franchise. We have our original building, and now one of my girls, she's going to open up a second branch of our business, right? That's what Star Diamond is. And I think it's really important to simplify that because we seem to overcomplicate what it actually takes to reach those different ranks, right? Whether it's how you're speaking to yourself in your mind, whether it's being hesitant and showing up for the vital behaviors, because that's a big piece of it too. But in the end, Diamond is 12 people. And I would bet every single person on this call knows 12 people, right? And it's a little more involved in that, but that's all Diamond is, right? We so overcomplicate that rank for some reason. Each rank then, when we go from Emerald, which is, right, I'm going to open up a store. So we talk to our girlfriends. Ruby, I'm getting my inventory ready so that we can open. I'm going to put flyers out. We're going to get ready for this grand opening, right? And then Diamond is your grand opening. Each of these ranks represents more and more momentum that you are fueling your business with. And this momentum is not just the momentum that you are creating. It's also the momentum from the team that you start to build, from the clients' lives that you start to change, from all these little pieces that you begin impacting. That's the momentum that's going to help you get up to that next level or achieve the next rank that you are striving for in your business. Every single piece of that matters, right? And it is super, super exciting because that also means that you are not the only person feeling the success. And I don't know about you, but I really don't like doing things alone. This business is so incredible in the fact that we are constantly talking about the importance of community, not just for our clients, but just like Lindsay shared at the beginning of the call, our coaching community also is so incredibly important to the continuous momentum that we have going on. And so each of these ranks, right, means more and more people are starting to see success too, beyond just the work that you are doing, which is so awesome. It's called a ripple effect, and I just love it. But what you need to know and what you need to remember, specifically in this business, is you are going to go nowhere alone. Sure, and I think her name is Sammy Glonick. You can achieve ranks all by yourself. You can duplicate yourself X amount of times. Sure, you can do that, but you're going to be awfully lonely if you decide to do it that way. So I want to encourage you to start thinking about your business not always with the money in mind, right? This is such a gift, what we have to share. And so every single time you guys start sitting down, to do your invites or daily vitals, whatever it is, I want to challenge you to start thinking about it as a gift that you have to offer someone. Because I know for me, when I make that simple shift from, oh my gosh, I have to send this invite, to, I get to share this gift again today, it completely changes how I'm going to have that conversation, right? And we all know that our rank advancements, our team growing, all of it starts with that simple conversation, right? So our mindset has to begin to shift a little bit whenever we enter into those conversations. I'm sorry, I am trying to stick to my notes because I don't like going over time either. But okay, so now we're going to move more into the mindset talk. Does anyone have questions yet? I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but I love this stuff. Mindset, or sorry, with the ranks, and as it pertains to your mindset, it's more than just your street credit, right? Your mindset is what you're going to show up with every single day, in the good, the bad, the highs, the lows of this business. So it's super, super important to make sure that you are keeping that intact, right? And what are the different ways that we do that? We do that with personal development every single day. It is one of our vital behaviors for a reason. It is not just so that we can help our challengers and motivate them more. It is also for ourselves and for our business that is super important to keep intact. You become the pace setter for your team every single time you hit a rank advancement. And let me tell you what, when someone first told me that, I was like, oh my God, what if I don't go fast enough? Or, oh my gosh, what if I can't keep up with XYZ or so-and-so, right? Don't think about it that way. Every single time you achieve that rank, whether it's Emerald, whether it's Ruby, whether it's Diamond, whatever, or maybe there's a financial goal that you have, right? Like we haven't even talked about that part yet. That becomes the pace setter for your team, which is super, super exciting because you are the one then who is showing what's possible. It's not Karen down the street, you know, showing your team what is possible for your business and for their income. It's you, which is so, so incredibly cool. So how do you begin to build that mindset? Maybe when you have this goal, but you're not quite there yet. Anyone? How do we do it? I just said it. It's personal development, right? We have to keep up with that personal development. And I want to encourage you to also find someone within this business. Lindsay might hate me for saying this, but even someone who maybe isn't on this team, find someone who has similar goals as you, who can become your sounding board. Because as much as you love Lindsay, and I know as much as my people love me, right? It is super, super important to make sure you have connections within the business with other like-minded women. Just because someone may be at the same level as you doesn't mean their goal is going to be the same. And so how they approach their business may look a little different. It might not be something that would help you cultivate your own. So feel free to reach out to Lindsay, myself, you know, our team. You can constantly look for success partners on our team, but make sure you are opening the doors of communication for those relationships in this business, because hands down, and as Lindsay shared at the beginning of the call, the relationships and connections are so incredibly vital as you begin to grow your business beyond maybe what you ever even thought possible. So it's that personal development and keeping those lines of communication open. Mindset in this business is going to be like a muscle, right? Which is kind of silly to think about, but it's absolutely true. We know that when we exercise, right, when we lift weights, we are strengthening our muscles. We are tearing down those fibers so that they can become bigger and they can become stronger. Our mindset works the same way. And I know I'm sounding like a redundant little recorder here, but please, please, please keep your mindset intact. It's super important to make sure you are exercising that every single day, that you are filling your head with positive things, whether you are someone who listens to podcasts, maybe you're someone like me. I love reading a book and, you know, making it a mess, right? Underlining everything, putting notes everywhere. Make sure that you are filling your mind with as much good things as you are filling your bodies with right now too. That's a piece that I think sometimes when we're this close to a rank, or maybe we're this close to earning that extra 100 for the week, or we're this close, right? It's that mindset piece that is going to help catapult you from looking at it and smelling it, right? Sniffing it, you know it's there and you know you're super close, but the mindset is what's going to help you push through that door so that you can overcome whatever that obstacle is. The more you flex it, I'm sorry. So as you do this consistently over time, it's a lot like your health and wellness journey. Your momentum is going to keep growing, which means you're going to need to keep working on your mindset to make that piece stronger, because the reason you might not have been able to achieve something yet that you have set out to do is quite possibly because your mindset muscle isn't strong enough yet. And that's not a bad thing. That just means you need to look a little deeper and figure out where that limiting belief might be, or maybe who is that one other person that you need to have a conversation with that you know would be awesome at this, or that you know would kick ass in this, but for whatever reason you haven't asked them yet, right? It's that little push that we're going to need that's going to help catapult you over there. And then the stronger your mindset becomes, the more increased your momentum becomes for your team. And it's a ripple effect across the board. Because like I said, you can't go anywhere in this business alone. So the more you consistently build your own momentum, the more you consistently stretch your mindset muscle, your team's going to start doing the same thing, right? Because you're the pace setter, right? You are the pace setter for whatever is going to happen, which is super, super exciting. So yeah, that's basically what I have for you guys tonight. I feel like I just covered everything like a super short amount of time.
So amazing. And I think it's great because I want to be able to open it up for questions. But some of the things that just in listening to you that I'm kind of like, yes, were, first of all, your store analogy. Love that, because it's so true, right? That Emerald and Ruby, you know, signing those first coaches under you, and making sure you're figuring out the right leg from the left leg and how to move people if they go to the wrong spot. And that's all those like foundational things, right? You're literally laying the ground that you're going to build your business on. And then getting to Diamond is open for business. It's not the end, it's the beginning.
Right.
And I think that was a really lovely way of stating that. And then as it grows, then you're opening up your additional franchises or your additional branches.
Yeah.
I also love that framework for onboarding a new team so that people understand where they are in relation to somebody else, such that if you're going for Emerald, you're not comparing to someone who's going for Diamond or for One Star. Understanding where you are and opening your business. And then when it came to mindset, you made me realize that I was just thinking, I was like, yeah, okay, so you do show up with your mindset, and we as a team always talk about you talk about what you're feeling that day or what you need to hear, and that's how we kind of come up with content. But when you think about it in mindset to success thought process, in every month where I've had my best results, it's also when my mindset has been the most on point. And in the months where I feel like I'm struggling to hit Success Club, when I go back and look, it's because I wasn't feeling right in my own, about my own results, about where I was on my journey, and I had gotten away from personal development. So I think that is just like, I know you really hit it, you hammered it, but like, it's so important.
It's so easy to overlook.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And then the leaning on a phone a friend. I think that's a really tactical, important piece about meeting other coaches in our network, and even in the way you think about when coaches come to follow you on Instagram. So I remember when I was first starting, I was like, I don't want all these other coaches following me. But now I've kind of, like, I have found like different people to lean on that are even some of them on totally different teams. And it is kind of nice to have somebody to reach out to be like, hey, this is how my coach does it. How does your coach do it? And typically I find out that Dara's team is like far better than everyone else's team, which also makes me feel really good.
Right.
I'm on the right team. So I think just like kind of collecting those like business cards, if you will, of like who's in your coach Rolodex that you can, if people even still have those, coach contact lists of people you can reach out to if you have a question that you don't want to ask your coach, especially when your coach is pushing for their own milestones and rank advancements, and you might know that the answer they're going to give you is like, I just need you to do it.
Right.
So I think that's great. Gosh, so many cool things. Well, team, what questions or like thoughts did you guys have?
I have a pretty tactical question.
Sure.
But when you're talking about finding someone within the business who has similar goals, I got a little bit, so it sounds like you follow each other on social, but are there other avenues to, like, is there a discussion board or?
There are, and that's up to me. I need to add you in. So I will invite you into, we have on Facebook, Heart Hustle Muscle is what it's called, group of fellow coaches. And it's just a private Facebook group where you can post any questions that you have, but you could also post like, hey, I'm looking for a Success Club partner. It's, people post it often, like, I'm looking for a Success Club partner. Here's what I'm looking for. And people would chime in. Would you agree, Becca?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one of the strengths of this team too, is we are constantly like finding new ways to connect ourselves with each other, which is so cool. Especially with COVID, because we can't really like hang out together or go for coffee with anyone.
Where else would you recommend? Do you have any other forums that you use, or?
I don't, honestly, and I wonder if now, like 3.5 years, I wonder if it's just because I've thankfully been able to go on different trips, like Success Club trips that you earn, the different diamond retreats. I've been able to connect with other people in person.
So I think that's
different milestones, right?
In a non-COVID world, that's also the reason why you strive and a goal for when you get to Summit, so that you're not just hanging out with your team, but that you're meeting other people.
And even Super Saturdays. Super Saturdays is a way that you're able to meet other coaches who are local to you, right? And it's shocking sometimes when you go into a room, you're like, oh my gosh, all these guys are from South Central Pennsylvania also? Okay, and we're all doing the same thing. Super Saturdays are another really great way to meet and make those connections.
Megan, I'm writing down a list of things to talk to you about in your one-on-one on Wednesday, so I got you.
Oh, you are brand new. You're
brand new.
Well, she's still on the screen. It means I didn't scare her away.
No problem.
Yeah, awesome.
I have a thing. I think that I've been, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I think that I've like been struggling a little bit with like imposter syndrome, I think, like feeling like I like can't find my groove, or like however it is I'm talking to people, like I'm being genuine, and yet like nothing is really yielding back from like the cold market, you know? And like, so I can see where I want to get with like the rank advancement. And for me, like it isn't about the money in terms of my career. I guess it's about the money now because I'm unemployed, but like at the same time, it's like that wasn't what got me into it. And so like I'm still developing like my social media persona, because I was not that person before. And so like I think I'm wondering like how you found your niche, because you do have a very specific way of like how you get your message across, and I notice it like in our pages on your posts and everything. And it's like, how did you find that? How did you like connect with that world and like find what works for you?
So the really short answer for that is I actually paid for way too much money a social media training that I did for my team about 2 years ago. And really what it comes down to, and I can send this information to Lindsay and she can get it to you guys, it really had me doing a lot of avatar work. And what I mean when I'm talking about an avatar is like finding your audience, like who are those people that are going to vibe with you versus me, or who are the people that are going to vibe with Lindsay versus Megan, you know, whoever it is. It's helping you kind of hone in on your scope, because I know exactly what you're talking about. There was a season in my business where I was trying to talk to everyone because I couldn't get anyone, right? And that's where the danger is. So it has what we call interview questions, where you basically kind of go through, and some of them are silly, like, what does your ideal person, you know, watch on TV, right? Are they a Hallmark person, or are they someone who's watching Die Hard? Like, it sounds silly, like I'm sure it does, me telling you that this is what I did, but it helps you get super specific so that when you go to talk about your story or share, you know, something super exciting, or maybe it's something you're struggling with, how do you share that so that it connects with your most ideal client. So I will send that to Lindsay because you don't have to pay for it. I'm just gonna send it
That's
to you.
so nice of you. Thank you. Like
Yeah.
I would appreciate that, because I'm just
Yeah.
like, I think
And
I'm like
it
struggling
takes
there.
time, because
Yeah.
another thing that happens is we can get into this rut of telling the same story over and over again. And you know how we are whenever we have seen a movie so many times, or whenever we've read a book so many times, we just kind of become mute to it then, right? And so it'll help you kind of find ways to not just tell your story, but also evolve with your client, because that's a really important thing to make sure you're doing, because the Becca today is not the same Becca that signed up 3.5 years ago with her 6-month-old twins, right? The chaos that she's a totally different mama now of 5, still has 5 kids, but they're all different now, right? They can all pee on the potty by themselves now, and they can all take their own showers and stuff, right? Like, I'm talking to a totally different mom now than I was 3 years ago. So those exercises will help you kind of navigate through that a little bit.
I have one more question. What personal development books, because you say like it's so important, and like this is like since I started coaching, like I'd never read anything beyond the 4 agreements. So
Sure.
what personal development books can you recommend?
Sure. So I love the Empower Her podcast by Keisha Fitzgerald. And then as far as books that I've read, hands down, the Rachel Hollis stuff, Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing. And maybe that won't vibe with you, but I think as women, sometimes we really try and mute ourselves a little bit, and kind of talk down on ourselves a little bit. And those 2 really helped me to not do that in the beginning. The Compound Effect, The Slight Edge, and right now, because I'm struggling in quarantine with my mornings, Miracle Morning is a great one. Oh, and The Joy of Missing Out. That's a really good one. If you're an Enneagram 3 like me, who feels like you have to constantly keep up with the Joneses, The Joy of Missing Out's a really good one.
I am a 3, so thank you.
You're welcome.
That's funny.
I gotta take this quiz. I don't know what I am.
I'm a
you should
3
take
wing
it, yeah.
too. Yeah, I'm a 3 wing too.
Yeah, that would be me. I want to be friends with everyone, but I'm also super competitive. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. That's what I had.
Okay. Cool.
I think I have another question.
Sure.
I love here. So I think you articulated it perfectly. This when you didn't hit Emerald for 6 months, you were hesitant. You didn't understand sort of the financials. Outside of like getting yourself up to speed, like what, I'm sure it's mindset, but like what helped you sort of get over that hump and just sort of lean in and like, this is who I am now?
I truly believe it's because I just became super, super comfortable telling my story. And because I had, decided to love myself enough to begin that health and wellness journey, right? And it's something in my own personal life that has helped me lose over 85 pounds. And it's, the weight aside has totally changed the woman I am, right? For my husband, for my kids, all of that. And so when I finally just kind of got real with myself and was like, I am doing everyone else a disservice by not sharing this opportunity with them, right? Like, think about something in your life that maybe has been withheld from you and how that felt, right? Like, what we have is a life-changing gift. This is not shampoo, this is not makeup, this is not clothing. This is something like you see it all the time where people's cholesterol is improving, right? There's so many medical improvements from this gift that we have. And when I thought about it that way, I realized that I was hurting people by not sharing and by not being honest and by not pretending I'm having coffee with them and inviting them to do it with me, right?
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you started, were you just starting your fitness journey?
I was the worst of the worst. And Whitney will tell you this too. She's my upline. I joined for free. I told her I already had P90X. I wasn't going to spend the money. And then she's like, well, we have a 30-day free trial. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do that. But I'm still just going to do P90X. So I joined one of her challenge groups. And after 3 months was when others around me started seeing the personal changes in myself. It wasn't just me noticing it anymore. And that's when I they were asking, you are talking differently. Like, you are showing up to your own life differently. Like, what are you doing? And so that's when I realized, you know what? I really should start sharing this. Like, I cannot help but want to share this and allow another woman the opportunity to experience, or man, one of my challengers last year was in the top 4 for the Beach Valley Challenge. Like, how can I not share this?
Awesome. Thank you. I feel like I empathize and sympathize with that mentality right now.
Yeah.
I'm not at like any sort of goal weight or anything, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I think when I became a coach, I still had 40 pounds to lose, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I think that's a great follow-on question, Becca, is how do you talk to your team about the difference between bringing people along on the journey with them versus trying to get to their end point and then trying to get people to do what they did?
Right. So I gather most of you follow me. I just honestly encourage my people to be as honest as possible about their life. It is not a goal of mine to have 6-pack abs every single day of my life. I don't like having to flex my stomach that much. Like, I just don't enjoy it. So what I try and encourage my people to do is just be honest about your journey, right? Like, if you are going to be someone who is perfect and 100% all the time, awesome, share that and be consistent with that. If you're going to be a balance lover like homegirl over here, then just make sure you're being honest about that too, right? Because nobody likes perfect pennies. At least I don't. But just be honest about it, right? And life is going to change so much, right? Like, let's think about the past 6 months that we've experienced with the global pandemic, right? So many people are experiencing and feeling levels of stress like they never have before. So being honest with how you are even coping in these situations and these times, right? I think it helps people to not put you on a pedestal, if that makes any sense, because a lot of times, and I know I did the same thing, this is why I didn't become a coach this is why I told Whitney no for 6 months, was I didn't want to be put on a pedestal of perfection, and I didn't want to have to show up to social media with a milkshake that I didn't want to drink every single day, right? But being able to kind of strip that away, I think there's so much freedom in sharing your journey authentically, right? As someone who had horrible confidence in high school and through my entire childhood and experienced different emotional things, right? Like, it's pretty freaking cool to strip that all away and just be honest. It's terrifying and it takes time. But the avatar work will help with that too. I think I answered your question, maybe.
Maybe. You did great.
No,
I like how you're like,
I don't like my coaches to be carbon copies of each other, right?
Thank you. Yes, do it your own way.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful things I love is seeing all of my coaches come into their own on their own and supporting each other along the way, right? Like, none of us have the same story, which is so cool. And which is why doing this together on a team can be so incredibly powerful and transforming, not just for your own lives, but for those people who are watching your team right now. Those people who in 6 months are going to be on your team are seeing everything that you're sharing about your journey and about your team, right? And I love that.
Well, and I love how what you said about, you said no to Whitney for 6 months.
I did.
And she saw in you what a phenomenal coach you would be, and she didn't take no for an answer, right? And knowing Whitney, she also didn't like hound you, but she kept just trying to point out to you the qualities and the skill sets that you innately have that would bring so much to not only her team, but to the business and to everybody that you know and touch. And so I think that that's just also a really great insight that you shared with us.
Yeah. And there are going to be naysayers, right? But one thing that I have learned, and it is true time and time again, is that you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, right? Like if I would look back at messages that I sent 3.5 years ago, and sometimes they pop up, I'm like, I'm really surprised anyone even joined me whenever I started this whole thing. But you can't say no, or you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, because if they are ready, and that's another important thing too. I think so many times we can get our goals and our rank advancements so ingrained in our brain that it becomes frustrating because we're not hitting them fast enough or whatever, but the other person has to be ready too, right? And that's why the mindset work is also super important, because you're not the only one that's going to be doing the work in that relationship. That coach that you're wanting to join, or that client that you're wanting to join, they need to be ready too. Which is why we need to keep talking to new people all the time. Because I will tell you, I had someone join me this past week that I started talking to 3 years ago. Have I invited them every single time over the past 3 years? No, but I genuinely like making friends on social media, right? And you'll find that just building those relationships, so what if they told you no? You can still be friends and have conversations and talk about their jeans or their hair or their nails or whatever it is that you follow them for. You would be surprised who will join you in 3 months, 6 months. But you got to make sure you're showing up to still do the vitals too. And the vitals, that's a whole nother call.
And I love that point too. And sorry, my kids are here, but we're moms.
Mine are going to start screaming under the door.
Okay, so I love what you said though, because I think Stephanie, to your point earlier about like, you feel like you're putting in so much work and you're not feeling those rewards yet. But it could just be that you're planting the seed now that's gonna sprout in 6 months. And you just kind of have to keep like fostering that relationship.
Yeah. I forget where I read it, but it was something to the effect of everything you do today, you're going to see the fruits of for the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years in your business. But the key is going to be making sure that you are showing up to sow those seeds, right? Because if you don't, what happens? Like I'm not a gardener by any means. Goodness, we have people ripping out our flower beds right now. But if you don't show up to take care of that seed, then why would they say yes down the road? So that's another thing to make sure that you are doing when you are making those connections, that you're continuing to foster that relationship.
So I think that's a good segue into, do you have any tips for tracking or systems that you use to keep in touch with people?
I use a notebook. I have like 5.
You're paper and pen, huh?
I'm paper and pen. But what I will say is I kind of have a follow-up system that helps me to not lose track of people, right? I have my 3 kind of initial communications, right? And if they ghost me or if they don't respond, then they'll go into a loop that I'll follow up within a month. And then after that, it's 3 months and then 6 months. And surprisingly, it seems to work pretty well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Because then you're not losing those people either. You're not just like, oh, okay, and then like moving on. You bring them back. I mean, I'm sure that that's then part of the reason why you hit SE10 every month for 24 months straight.
Well, yeah, okay. But anyway, sorry, that totally made me lose my train of thought. Another thing, and I don't know how much time you guys have as far as like the different avenues that you use through social media. But one thing I love to do to people who said, maybe not right now, especially because of quarantine, a lot of people are losing their jobs and they're losing their income. It's like, I can't right now, I don't have the money, or, whatever it is. If you find that that is a true issue, right? I have a free community. I say, hey, I'm going to plug you into this. You can, be a fly on the wall. I share recipes. I share fun daily water challenges, just come be a part of a community. And doing that kind of helps rip off the Band-Aid a little bit, right? Because they can see you under a little bit closer of a microscope versus just following your social media. And they can see what you're kind of all about as a coach.
Love that.
Do you have any tips for how you plan, like, what you put out there? Do you do it like week by week, or is it like, do you plan a month, or how does that system work in terms of sharing?
Sure. So one thing that I do for myself, and I often share with my team, I don't think I shared August yet with them, but I'll plan out my month first. Like, I will break down my month about what my topics are going to be. Like, when do I want to have my challenge group start? When do I want to have my new coach training start? I'll plan out my month that way, because and Lindsay, when you hit One Star and you go to NLC, you'll get to hear from people like Melanie Mitro, and she'll teach you how to do this kind of stuff. But typically people are on a 2-week loop on social media. So I will then spend 1 to 2 weeks just talking about whatever exercise program it is that I'm doing, right? MBF was most recent. In September, I'm going to be doing the Ultimate Reset again. So I will block out 1 to 2 weeks to only talk about that, especially in my stories. I make sure once a week, regardless of whatever topic it is I'm talking about, 1 to 2 times a week, I am sharing something about the opportunity. So most recently it was, all right, I got my nails done. Like, I had, of course, had much nicer words to say than that, but like making sure I'm putting little sprinkles in there, regardless of whatever my main topic is, so that people continue to hear how my life is benefiting from the coaching opportunity. So that then when I go into my 1 to 2 weeks where I'm talking about coaching, you're like, oh, okay, this is what she's talking about now. Okay, this is her team. This all makes sense. I find that it helps me be just a little bit more cohesive, because there was a time where I was just kind of throwing up a post just to post. And I really want to caution you in doing that. Because it can make our messages less effective when we do it that way. So I also have some planning content I can send to Lindsay as well. You might have access to it too, but it's actually Emerald stuff. I love it. But she teaches you how to batch create for your posts, which is super, super helpful.
Great.
That way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because otherwise we can fall into a trap, and it happens to me more often than I'd like to admit, where I will only post about exercise, right? Oh, look at my muscles. Oh, hey, look at my sweat today. All right, I have my Energize. And then I look back and I haven't talked about the coaching opportunity, right, for 3 weeks. Well, no wonder no one wants to join me, because I haven't told them that they can. Like, so yeah, I do plan my month as far as basic topics that I want to cover. And then I'll spend 1 day a week and I'll sit down and I'll just jot down my basic topic for the day, with the goal of having a post on social media once a day. Sometimes I'm better at it than others. But yeah.
That's great. I love that. Somebody at a training, I guess somewhere the other day, I heard, like, think of someone that you follow pretty regularly on Instagram, whoever it is, like, that you drive with and you genuinely enjoy going and finding their content. Once you have that person in your mind, think about, what did they share last week? No idea. Like, even somebody that I like genuinely enjoy, I have no idea what they posted about last week. So then think about what they posted about 2 days ago. Still no idea. Maybe one recipe would stick out in your mind if they shared like something that you made and you really liked. And then yesterday. But I can probably recall what they posted today. And so every day I'm like, okay, whatever I want people to do today, I need to make sure I post about today.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, like, back to the whole store analogy, doing the stories on Instagram or Facebook is super easy. A lot of people like doing it because it's the pretty stuff, it's the fun stuff, right? And it goes away in 24 hours. But there's a lot of danger there if you're not consistently doing a post on social media. That's your storefront. Like that's you every day saying, all right, we are open for business again today, guys, right? Here's my post. I'm open for business. Let's chat. Not posting is as if like, can you imagine if Old Navy, or I say Old Navy because I love Old Navy, but like if they would just not be open, right? Like you would take all this time, go get your coffee so you can wander through the store. Maybe you can't carry your coffee right now because you have to wear a mask. But like, can you imagine then showing up to that store that you were super excited to shop at and then their doors were locked? Like you not posting on social media is as if you're saying your doors are closed for the day. That's how we get our voice out there on social media. So.
Love that too.
I don't mean to like lay down the hatchet, but like
thank you.
It's
no,
so
I want to be super
so
respectful
true.
of your time, and I know it's 4:54. So any last question, comment?
Well, just a comment. Thank you for being here and sharing.
Absolutely, you're so welcome.
No, it's so nice to just get fresh perspective and fresh thinking, and so that's great. I'll plug a few upcoming dates for everyone. So actually tonight at 6 p.m., Becca's coach Whitney is hosting a new coach kickoff. If anybody can join, I know it's tonight, but if you can't make it tonight, no worries. Becca is hosting one on the 24th. At 8 p.m. East Coast time. Sorry, I said 6 p.m. because it's mountain, but these are both at 8 p.m. Yes. East Coast time. The other time zones flow backwards from that. 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The 18th, I have marked on my calendar is an Emerald in 24. I don't know if that's just because Dara asked me to help her do that or if that's actually been scheduled. Do you know if that's actually been scheduled, Becca?
It actually is, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Great. Emerald in 24 on the 18th. So as we talked about that foundation, it's just a really great way to join forces with all of the other coaches pushing for Emerald, and everyone kind of shares some thoughts and theories about how they're going to try to tackle it. And so that's a really, really great one. And then we've got some new biz opportunity calls every Thursday night. Again, I think at 8 p.m. East Coast time. A new host every Thursday, but know that if you've got people who are interested in the coaching opportunity, there's somebody to help tell them what it's all about every Thursday night.
Yep.
All right.
Anyone else feel like coaching is helping you become better, maybe worse at like learning time zones? I feel like I still don't know it yet, but I'm determined. That's my goal.
It's so funny though whenever you invite somebody to something and you have to be like, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Right. Yeah. All of them. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So everybody knows
thank you so much, Becca. Right? I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My team, if you want to stick around, we can have any last team chats too. If anybody has any questions just about life.
And I don't bite. Feel free to message me anytime.
Yes. Thank you, Becca.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You're
Becca.
welcome. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Oh, wait, Becca. Forgot to take a picture. Maybe she'll jump back on.
It always happens that we forget pictures.
I know, every time. All right, anything for just our team? Any questions or thoughts on anything for this week? If you want, I think, want to do one-on-ones if we don't have a time already, if you want to set one up. I'm around.
Yes.
Cool. She's great, isn't she? So much energy. She's so awesome. I will make sure I follow up with her to get the things that she talked about sharing. And I'm excited to see her avatar work because Megan, I'm sure you were thinking it's very similar to
Who, What, How.
Who, What, How, and like the consumer segments, right? So it'll be awesome to get her tools and then compare them with the marketing tools that I have, and I can see how we can make that super robust, because I think we could probably all benefit from really honing in on who it is that we're going after.
And Dee, you're going to be like a guest speaker on other teams' calls here in a little bit, just like Becca.
That's why I do this, man. I love it. I love speaking. You know me. Got the gift of gab. We can just talk for hours. But I would love that. I love talking.
It'll happen. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. Anything else? Good days, everybody?
I think so.
Does everybody have a personal development that they're reading?
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday, Megan.
Yeah, I gotta find mine.
Agnieszka's like, I don't have time for that.
I spent all weekend, including today, writing a proposed statute.
A proposed what?
A Florida statute.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And then today. My eyeballs are killing me. If I look at one more small letter of jibber jabber, I'm going to just die.
What about podcast?
I know. I do follow some of the ones Becca was saying.
Oh, so then that's personal development. That counts.
I still do a listen once in a while, but
yeah.
Oh, I am over reading for the current.
Yeah.
I went to the library because I was like, I would like to read more. So I went to the library and checked out all these books, and I got like halfway through them, and then work happened. And I know we're giving you this on Friday, but what do you think about writing a proposed statute? I'm like, okay, I guess I could spend my whole weekend doing this. Okay.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
So
and the legislator is going to throw it away, but why not?
So it was all worth it.
Oh gosh, goodness gracious, you poor thing. Well, go rest your eyes. Get away from the screen. Go outside. Oh, it's probably dark there now, but
not eaten yet. So,
all right, go eat. All right. Well, thank you everyone for jumping on and making Becca feel so welcome. Really appreciate it. I'm not gonna do them super frequently because I feel like that gets tiring too. But every once in a while, I want to have somebody come on and talk to us. So I'll start thinking of the next person. But have a great week. Reach out to me if you want to do a one-on-one, and go team. Should we take a picture? We should take a picture.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Oh wait, Agnieszka's frozen. Oh, there she is. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, I think I took 10. I'll send it out right now. I won't wait an hour like I normally do. All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye.